Good day, true believers. Seanorama. It's the Sean Geek Podcast on the road. Boy, do I got some stuff to talk about. Last Saturday, I was on the last episode. We reviewed the Disraeli Dreamers CD release. Little did I know at the time that this was an older release, and that there was a newer one coming out. And I guess I did not review the most recent one, which is just as well, because I had a really nice surprise when I get down to the Park Theater and got to check out Disraeli Dreamers and the debut of a newer EP, which I picked up on Saturday when I got there. I want to thank the Dreamers for getting me in. I said I was coming down for sure because, hey, I like to support local music, and they're definitely one of the great bands in this great city. I got there, and the guys were really nice to me, and they didn't want to charge me to get in. But I still paid my way and definitely made sure I picked up the new CD. So I've got it playing in my car, and I've listened to it a bunch of times. And I also got my copy of it through my Google Play account, and I've been listening to it on there. And so today's episode, we're going to talk about the show. We're also going to do a quick review of this new EP. But I don't want to keep it. I want to make sure I give the kudos to the Dreamers, because those guys are great guys, and it's nice to know some guys in the scene that are amazing people as well as amazing musicians. But I do want to talk about the rest of the show and what happened in there. So let's cover the CD. Let's cover the CD first. So I was surprised the last CD just came out. It was late last year, late 2017. Maybe it was our November. So this wasn't that long ago. It was very, very, very recently. So I think the complaint that I had with the last CD was there's only four real tracks on there, and that I want to hear a whole album. Well, if these guys are going to be putting EPs out this frequently, then I'm okay to wait. That way I get more Dreamers music a little bit sooner than that. So let's cover the EP, man. Let's do it. So it's really good. I don't know. I don't know if I can go into much detail, but I'm going to try to as much as I can. Okay, let's see if I can remember the track listing. So there's 4 tracks on this EP. It's called Insomnia Island. I was expecting maybe a little bit more of the same, but this was different. It had the same generalness that is the Dreamers sound, which I think was exemplified on 3 of those tracks off the last EP. But I really found that it was that same sound, but it had a whole level of musicianship that was high-end. Songwriting, which was very high-end. There's a lot of layers and levels to the songs on this EP, and it really feels like this band grew up between the first EP and this one. There was a greater maturity to the themes that were going on there, and I don't know what the word is. Like, there was definitely a different intensity. There was a conviction, I guess, maybe the right word. It really finds, like, on that first EP, these guys were finding their feet. Still really great, really good music, really good songwriting. But on this one, they are like, yeah, we're the Dreamers, damn it. They're very confident in their sound, very confident in their musicianship, in their songwriting. Like, this was really mature. I was really impressed, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. If I was going to point out standout tracks, I can't, because they're all good. I even like the song titles. Shotguns and Chivalry. I think that song is playing on 92, which is the local radio station here in Winnipeg. And deservedly so. Like, catchy as hell. But, yeah, it's just really, really good. So, guys, go out and pick it up. You can get it on everything. Spotify, Google, iTunes, you know, whatever is your flavor. You can pick it up everywhere. Yeah, go pick up a copy. Like, I like having my hard copy. I still got an old beater of a car, and I still got CDs, and I still play CDs in there. And there's just that whole thing of holding the CD, popping that damn thing open, putting it in your car, and just cranking the tune. There's a whole experience to it that I really, really like. The only regret that I have from Saturday is I should have got these guys to sign it for me, because these guys are going somewhere, and eventually they're going to forget little old me, and they're going to say, yeah, that guy, whatever, yeah, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, yeah, I got to get this signed, so maybe the next show, if you guys are listening, I wouldn't mind getting this thing signed. So, let's get to the actual release party. So, the Dreamers are the promoters of this thing, but smartly so, they let Moontan be the headliner. Moontan is a really big band. I guess they're on the verge of being very big. They have a very solid following. They competed, so that Indie Week competition that my band Dome was competing in, I guess last year now, in 2017, Moontan won the whole competition the year before, and they performed out in the UK. And they won the whole kit and caboodle. So they got past the Winnipeg portion of the competition, went down to Toronto. They nailed that. They won that. And then they went out and they played out in the UK, which is phenomenal. So the Dreamers asked them to play, and I think by association somehow they brought in Deep Dark Cave, which I've heard lots about too. And I hadn't seen or heard either one of those two bands, but I heard enough about them that, you know what, I like local music. Unfortunately, I'm biased. If it's local, I'm going to like it. Even if it isn't good, I can't not like it. I just really enjoy the thriving music scene we have here. The amazing bands out of the city. I just want to put it out there. Winnipeg has probably the best. Ooh, now Danny Roy's going to fight me on this one, and he can. I think we have the highest amount of great bands per capita of any city. Period. Toronto can't hold a candle to us. Vancouver can't hold a candle to us. Montreal can't hold a candle to us. Hey, don't get me wrong. Those cities do produce some great bands, but per capita, it's ridiculous how much freaking talent we have in this city. It's uncanny. Like it shouldn't even work that way, but it does. Trust me. You can go at any night of the week and see a really great band at any time in this city. That's how good it is. So the show opened up with Deep Dark Cave. I was very impressed with a lot of things with these guys. There's definitely an image going on there. And I find when there's an image, there's a bit of... it gives the audience a sense of identity for the band. If they're just guys that, you know, going out and maybe just jeans and t-shirts, I guess, it doesn't really evoke anything, but it just feels like, you know, hey, we're a unit together, but they're all individuals. The drummer had these awesome 1970s shades, kind of looked like a cop from, I don't know, from the 70s or something. It looked cool, man. Like, I'm not mocking the guy, that's for sure. It just looked freaking cool. But everyone had an image. The guitar player kind of reminded me of young Alex Lifeson in the way he dressed, and the way he composed himself and the way he was playing. He had a bunch of effect pedals, and he was always trying for these pretty cool sounds. The bass player was a jumping bean. He was great. A lot of fun, a lot of energy. So didn't give you the opportunity to get bored. You could just watch that guy, and spot on player for all that jumping around. It is hard to hit all those notes, and he was just cranking it. It was great. Now, I think from a non-musician perspective, I think the girls, the gals, probably like the singer. He kind of he kind of reminded me of. He reminded me of. I think the guy's name is David Usher, with Canadian band Moist. He had a really good presence. He had a really good control over the crowd. He had a mystique. He had a lot of charisma. So kudos to that. I was definitely taking notes. I definitely want to get my stage presence up to a really strong level like that. Overall, these guys sounded really good. As the opening tracks they played was really, really phenomenal. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go pick this up. And I didn't see that they had a CD for sale, so I had to go through Google Play to get my copy. But I'd really like to, put some actual cash in these guys' hands and pick up the CD. So hey, if make sure you guys got swag to sell, please. I definitely want to check it out. So they were great. Really, really good band. So Moontan. Now, I didn't know what to expect here. I've heard so many great things about these guys. I mean, they won the competition, the Indie Week. So I'm like, these guys are probably really good. But they were really good. They were otherworldly. I did not expect what I got. Now, I can't help but make this comparison because I guess everybody does. But definitely heavily Rush influenced. But Rush with a bit of a almost weirder. Sorry, some guy passing me here. Just like with a weirder, eccentric style. Like they actually had. So, just to explain it. The Moontan, each of the members, so there's only 3 of them. It's a 3-piece, basically very Rush. Everything is very bass driven with atmospheric guitar over. Again, another Rush signature. The drumming though was different than Rush, which I'm glad it's not the same, because I mean, you can sound like Rush all you want, but you got to carve your own identity. And I think the drummer was really capable of doing that. And he probably doesn't get the kudos he should, but the guy was solid as crap. Like, he's just super solid. He kept the songs going, and it was really his backbeat that allowed the rest of the band to do what they need to do. Now, very bass-driven. The bass player is basically playing guitar, really, in my opinion. It's carrying the whole song, and it allows the guitar player to do this really cool atmospheric stuff. And he can do little solos, but he's given a lot of room to breathe, to actually be that way. So akin to I guess our own band in a way, is that how do you have musically a 3-piece? A lot of bands, they require 2 guitar players to fill that sound out. But when a bass player this good is doing what he's doing, it gives the guitarist a lot of room to breathe, and the guitar player can play that much better as a consequence. He has more room to do shit and do some cool stuff. So, Image, these guys are great. Musicality was off the charts. I didn't expect the musicality that I was going to get. I thought it'd just be really good musicians, but the musicality was like through the roof. And really good. The songs were like, I just, when it was done, I'm like, oh, it's done? And I think they played for like an hour. It sure, I looked at my watch and I think it was an hour, but it didn't feel like an hour. I was like, oh my God, it's done? And they're already on the encore? So I immediately, they're on my playlist now as well. In terms of an evening, man, like, how the hell do you get such a solid lineup like that in one evening? It's crazy. But let's get to the reason I went to the show. They weren't the headliners, but they easily could have been. The Dreamers killed it. Now, I've seen these guys play before. We shared a bill with them at Indie Week, and they were really good, really solid, really liked them. I mean, I fell in love with them right away, and when, started following them. But, it's a band that I would easily follow. Like, I really liked what was going on. But the difference with this performance, there was an intensity, there was a goal, there was a drive that, there was a drive before, but man, it was such a perfect performance. Hearing the tracks off the new EP, great, all good tunes, but they played 2 songs on there that are not on this one, and I guess they're going to be on the next EP. And then from a purely marketing perspective, brilliant. The last 2 songs, and I'm going to include the set list here down below, but in the write-up for this, but the 2 songs, it was this kind of a long ballad. I don't even want to call it a ballad. It's just super powerful. Goosebumps. The crowd was really impressed. The crowd was like, hey, there's a lot of people dancing. Everyone was cheering. I think my perspective of this band was they're not this hard. And they were really hard, and they totally fit in. I thought they might kind of, be a little out of place with these other 2 bands. No way, man. They owned that stage with a precision and focus. It was hard. It was really hard. Like, very impressed. The last, everyone was digging it. Everyone was into it. There wasn't a single person in that room, because I know a lot of people came to see Moontan, and the Moontan fans saw these guys and went, "Oh, who's this? These guys are really good." I could tell, there was a perceptible. You could feel the crowd go, "Oh yeah, these guys have it." And they're really into it. And if they had done nothing but that, it would have been a killer, knockdown, drag out. You know what? Some of these people are going to start following the Dreamers. But those 2 songs, I believe it was the last 2 songs, it transformed the crowd in a way that it was amazing to watch the crowd. Now, I was hanging out, for some reason, I have no idea why. I was hanging out with Brian and Holly from Quote the Sun, but I was also hanging out with the guitar player from Moontan. The guitar player's dad was there, and he was hanging out with me, and I'm like, you got to wait till these guys come on, you're going to be impressed. And he kept looking at me and he kept going, holy crap, they're really good. I think he thought they might be good, but no, they're great. And considering what this guy's musical background is, what he's into, he was swayed from thinking these guys are pretty good to these guys are killer. So the last 2 tracks they played, and again, I think it was the last 2 tracks here. There was a ballad, I guess for lack of a better word, it was a ballad, and it was amazing. It was long, but it had this really long intro to it. It was very before the singing came in. It was emotional, and it was, when that song came on, you could see the crowd change. The crowd was dancing to the songs before. When this song came on, the crowd kind of stopped and took a step back and went, "Oh my God, this song is epic." It just really, it's one of those times when a crowd is really grooving, having a good time, and then the crowd suddenly stops, and it's like the crowd goes silent because the song is just so good that you don't want to cheer, you don't want to clap, you don't want to dance, you don't want to move, because you are being moved. Instead of being moved to move, the song just stopped the crowd, and the crowd just had to just stand there and go and take it in. It hit like a frickin' sledgehammer. Really good intensity. And if that wasn't enough, that alone, if they'd have finished on that song, that would have been enough. But no, they take a risk on the last tune, and it's this funky tune with Peter, the singer, he's playing I call it a saxophone. And this song was so freaking groovy that the people in the crowd that were metalheads who had given these guys props for everything they'd heard up to this point, I noticed the metalheads in the crowd going, and I saw a lot of people mouthing this, going, holy shit, what the F? Like, what is this? And it was kind of one of those moments, it could have been a sink or swim moment where they could have lost the crowd, but there was such conviction and it was so freaking cool that like even the metalheads in the crowd went, oh my God. I saw a couple of guys throwing up devil horns at this point going, even though it wasn't metal by any stretch of the imagination, they got devil horns from the guys in the crowd going, this is stupid good. It's amazing. Like, how do you do that? How do you transition from that ballady, epic, emotional song from that to this? This is stupid. This is not possible by any band to make that kind of transition within a span of 3 songs to being a lot of fun, really intense, to really moody, emotional, and epic, to this other song, which was epic in a completely different kind of way. And at the end of that song, so many people went, oh my God. They're just, seriously. Now I talked to Ryan. Ryan's the guitar player and kind of the business guy, I guess, for the band. Really good, solid rhythm player and musician. Anyway, I talked to him, and apparently those 2 tracks, you're not going to hear it here first, but you're going to hear it here, that these 2 tracks are going to be the next EP, which they are going to be doing tracking, I believe, right away. These 2 songs, if these 2 songs don't get major airplay, period, across the world, I don't know what you want to say, but these songs are too good to not get played everywhere. These are anthemic. I can even see the one with the horn being played at a hockey game or something like that. It's just so freaking catchy. But that's the thing with these songs. Even though they're catchy, they're not catchy in that commercial sense. That, now hear me out here. Just hear me out. I use the term commercial as a negative. A commercial song is something that's so catchy that you like it right away, then you hate it 5 minutes later. These are catchy, not in that way. These are commercial, not in that way. These are not even commercial, but how could songs this good not make it on the radio? It's virtually impossible for something this good. This captures so many different aspects and so many different sides that, it's impossible. Anyway, just saying hi to one of the Winnipeg Jets here. Oh, awesome. Anyway, that's my review of the show. I haven't been this blown away from a show in a long time. I've seen a lot of great shows in my time, a lot of amazing shows I've cried at. This show made it in my top 5. How is that even possible? I thought I'd seen it all. I did not even close. Anyway, I'm going to cap it off here. I'm going to try to get this episode up a little quicker. I might be changing the cadence of these releases, maybe get them midweek instead of the weekend, because the weekends are always so tough. But anyway, signing off here. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Please like, share, tell your friends about it. And yeah, please comment. Hey, I will read all comments on the air. I just want to hear what you guys have to say. So please comment, please share, please post, do everything you can. Let's get this podcast up to the level that I'd like to get it at. It's not quite where I want it to be yet, but it's getting there. So we'll see you guys on the flip side, and hoping to have some Dome news very, very soon. We are so close to something very big happening. So we'll talk to you about that hopefully within the next episode or 2. See you on the flip side.